You're sitting at your desk, staring at a blank document. The deadline is tomorrow. You've got hours to write that report, but your mind is a desert of distractions. A notification pops up. Another. You click. An hour later, you're still staring at the same empty page. This isn't just laziness. It's a battle you've fought 1,000 times before. You know what you should be doing. You just can't seem to start. This is procrastination, the invisible thief that steals your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. And it's not just about slacking off. It's about the way your brain tricks you into believing that waiting will make things easier, even when you know it won't. Procrastination isn't a simple lack of willpower. It's a complex dance between your emotions, your habits, and the way your brain processes fear and reward. Studies show that 80% of people procrastinate on tasks they know are important. That's not just a statistic, it's a mirror held up to every one of us. Whether you're a student staring at a mountain of homework, a parent trying to finish a project while juggling kids, or a professional drowning in emails, the feeling is universal. You're not alone. But here's the thing, understanding why you procrastinate is the first step to finally breaking free from it. Let's start with the root of the problem. Procrastination isn't about being lazy. It's about emotional regulation. Think of your brain as a stormy sea. When you face a task that feels overwhelming, like writing a speech, studying for an exam, or even cleaning your room, your brain doesn't just see it as a to-do item. It sees it as a threat. That threat triggers fear, anxiety, or even boredom. And instead of diving in, your brain says, let's do something else. You check your phone. You scroll through social media. You binge watch a show. It's not that you're avoiding the task. It's that you're avoiding the emotions that come with it. This is where the concept of present bias comes in. Present bias is the tendency to prioritize immediate gratification over long-term rewards. Your brain is wired to seek out quick wins, the dopamine hit of a like on Instagram, the thrill of a game, the comfort of a distraction. But when you're faced with a task that requires effort or delayed satisfaction, like studying for a test, working on a project, or exercising, your brain says, why suffer now when I can enjoy something else right now? That's why you might find yourself procrastinating on something important even when you know the consequences. It's not about wanting to fail. It's about your brain's desperate attempt to avoid discomfort in the present moment. But there's another layer to this, perfectionism. You've probably heard the phrase the perfect is the enemy of the good, and it's not just a cliché. Perfectionism is a major driver of chronic procrastination. Imagine you're working on a presentation. You're not just trying to finish it, you're trying to make it flawless. The fear of making a mistake, of being judged, of not meeting your own impossibly high standards paralyzes you. You can't even start because the idea of doing something good enough feels like a betrayal of your standards. That's why 40% of university students cite perfectionism as their primary reason for procrastinating. It's not that they don't want to succeed. It's that they're terrified of failing, not in the way you might expect, but in the way they believe their worth is tied to their performance. So what do you do when the fear of failure is holding you back? That's where practical strategies come in. One of the most effective tools for overcoming procrastination is the Pomodoro technique. It's a simple method, work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. Repeat this cycle, and after 4 cycles, take a longer break. The idea is to break tasks into manageable chunks, making them feel less overwhelming. A university student struggling with their thesis used this method and saw a 50% increase in productivity. The key isn't just the time management, it's the way it builds momentum. When you see progress, even small progress, your brain starts to associate the task with success, not dread. But here's the catch, technology is both a tool and a trap. Social media, streaming services, and endless notifications are designed to keep you hooked. They're the modern-day equivalents of candy, sweet, easy, and dangerously addictive. Studies show that technology-related distractions waste about 20% of the time people spend on tasks, costing the global economy $300 billion annually. That's not just a number. It's the equivalent of every person in the world losing an hour and a half every day to distractions they can't control. The solution isn't to quit technology, it's to take control of it. Turning off notifications, using website blockers, and setting specific times for social media can help you reclaim your focus. But even with these strategies, the emotional weight of procrastination can be crushing. You might feel guilty, ashamed, or stuck in a cycle of self-criticism. That's where self-compassion comes in. Think of it as the voice inside your head that says, "I know this is hard. I'm doing my best. I don't have to be perfect, I just have to keep going." Research shows that people who practice self-compassion are 40% less likely to experience anxiety or depression linked to procrastination. It's not about giving yourself a free pass, it's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend who's struggling. And when all else fails, there's a science-backed solution: cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT doesn't just help you manage procrastination, it helps you rewire the way your brain thinks about tasks, fear, and failure. In a corporate training program at a tech company, employees who participated in CBT-based workshops saw a 30% drop in project delays caused by procrastination. How? By identifying the thoughts that trigger avoidance, like "I'll never be good enough" or "this is too hard," and replacing them with more realistic, empowering beliefs. CBT doesn't erase fear. It teaches you how to move forward despite it. Here's the thing: procrastination isn't just about time management. It's about understanding your brain, your emotions, and the stories you tell yourself. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're human. And humans are complex, messy, and full of contradictions. You might be procrastinating because you're scared. You might be procrastinating because you're overwhelmed. You might be procrastinating because you're tired. But all of that doesn't mean you can't change. The most important takeaway is this: procrastination isn't about laziness. It's about the way your brain tries to protect you from discomfort. The solution isn't to force yourself to work harder, it's to work smarter. It's about creating systems that make starting easier, breaking tasks into steps that feel manageable, and learning to be kind to yourself when things don't go perfectly. It's about recognizing that the moment you're waiting for, the perfect time, the right mood, the ideal conditions, doesn't exist. The only time that matters is now. So the next time you find yourself staring at that blank document, remember, you're not failing. You're just human. And the tools to overcome procrastination are already within your reach. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to take one step, and then another. Because the most powerful thing you can do isn't to wait for the right moment. It's to create the moment.